purpose. They're not putting it out on the market.
What are they doing? Are they leasing them out?
Well,
Or they just keeping them vacant?
I'm hearing in certain cities where there's really a large amount, they're waiting for the government to say, we'll allow you to go to the people who are still the owners or were the owners and rent it back to them with some kind of plan where they can eventually become owners again. But none of the
Yeah,
plans.
that's hysterical if the government gets involved in a program like that too, Fannie Mae. And
Yes, and really
it's
is.
interesting that they're even bandying that around. But what could prove fruitful for investors in the future is these big hedge funds who are coming in and buying up a lot of inventory, and they can pay more because they're holding it for the long term. But I think they underestimate how much work it takes to actually manage properties.
Well,
That's a good
I
point.
know that some big names like Sam Zell and Warren Buffett are involved in some companies that are thinking of buying large amounts of real estate, taking it off of the bank's portfolio.
Well, they have the money to do the infrastructure
They
You know,
of
the
management.
hedge funds are doing that.
They
We're
certainly
we're seeing
do,
a lot of
yes.
evidence of
Yes.
that. But what I'm saying is they're underestimating the work that's involved with managing a portfolio. It's not like the stock market. These are actually people that you're dealing with, and I think at some point in the future they may want to offload those.
I agree with you. I think they don't realize that unlike stocks, they have leaky faucets and pipes and heat that doesn't
That's
work.
right,
or-
unpredictable.
So
Yes.
then what happens? Are they going to flood the market with sales and all in one
I
shot?
don't think they've
Wow.
flooded the market, but I think that, I think they've underestimated what they've taken on, and the truth and reality probably won't hit them for a few years, but it's something we should keep our eye on as investors.
I think the key takeaway from this, Geraldine, is that if for those who've been waiting on the sidelines to get back into real estate, I really don't think that we're looking at another dip in pricing due to another wave of foreclosures. I think we've reached price stability and we've reached a floor. And so for those people who are wondering how to get back into real estate or where the opportunities are, there's going to be an awful lot of speakers at this event that are going to talk about markets all over the country where real estate activity is really heating up.
Or also,
we have
if
one
people.
panel that will talk about where are the pros putting their money, which it should be a good one. I'll be facilitating that
Oh,
panel.
that sounds great.
Where are the pros putting their money? We want to know.
Also, if people are not pros, they haven't been investors in the past, and they're looking at their IRAs earning, hopefully, maybe a 0.5% interest, and realizing there's some safe diversifications they can do, it would be a great opportunity for people who haven't invested before to really jump in and learn about it. It's the beginning of a school year, and that would be a great way to get their education.
So-
Exactly, and I think because the prices have come down so dramatically, and I don't believe that you have to get in at the very bottom or out at the very top. That's greedy. But in terms of real estate, it's not going to change dramatically overnight. But we are seeing prices increases and inventory is low. So it is time to really consider getting in if you want to, and you want to capture some of these better prices. Now is a very good time, especially when you look at the interest rates as we discussed earlier.
Yeah, and I just want to remind not remind them, but tell the audience that both Mark Hanf and I are going to be there. So
Yes.
you get to come and meet your favorite hosts of the radio show, The Best of Investing.
Absolutely. It'll be fun
Yeah.
and informative.
Thank you so much for being our guest today.
Thank you.
We're going to cut to another commercial break here, and we'll be right back. Welcome! You're listening to The Best of Investing on News Talk 910. If you're a regular listener, you know this show is where we present valuable information about the real estate market, the financial markets, and other economic business of the day. And for those of you listening for the first time, here's our format. A few guys sitting around a bar having drinks without the drinks, talking business with you, the audience, listening in. I'm your host, Edward Brown, and I'm honored to have as my co-host Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, California's fastest growing private lender, and Brian Burke of Praxis Capital. And today's trivia theme is, raunchy movies. Put the kids away, audience. All right, our website is bestofinvesting.com. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube by typing Best of Investing Radio Show. And also, we are now on Comcast, Channel 26, every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 6 p.m. Watch us and see what we all look like. And
That's scary.
That's
Yeah,
scary.
we're not.
And today we have an extra special guest. His name is Joel Yanovitz, And Joel is a business consultant who is going to share how to take effective action towards reaching your goals and aspirations. Joel, welcome to the Best of Investing.
Thanks, it's great to be here, Edward.
Okay. Now, you started consulting with executives in large corporations. How did you transition to entrepreneurs and smaller growth companies?
Great question. We started when we were working with executives. One of the issues they were facing was how to innovate and how to grow their markets, grow their businesses in unknown territory.
Okay.
We started looking, who knows about that? Who knows something about how to get things done when you're dealing with situations of unpredictability, unknowability? In fact, I'm guessing many of your listeners find themselves looking at life and saying, boy, it sure isn't what it used to be. When they're looking to try to get something started, they're not sure about how to get started, they're not sure about how to manage the risks. These were the same things these executives were facing, and we started to look towards entrepreneurs, and particularly successful serial entrepreneurs, ones who'd not just gotten lucky once, but had built several companies. And that's what led us to the entrepreneurs market.
Hey, Joel, is there a particular mindset or way of approaching challenges that you find is common among successful entrepreneurs?
There is. Probably the most important one is a bias for action. We found that successful entrepreneurs don't spend a lot of time thinking about what to do. Their bias is to do something and then learn from it, and based on what they learn to then build on it.
So one of the things that I spent a lot of time thinking about when I started my company was whether or not I should leave my job that was paying the bills and just go out on my own and cut the strings. So, what advice do you have, or what factor would you say would point somebody towards making that move versus maybe not making that move?
I would say wait as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting.
Yeah. Now, I'll say why. There are several myths we have in our society about entrepreneurs, and one of them is that they're big risk takers. And it turns out that entrepreneurs are not risk takers as much as they are risk minimizers. So I would counsel you to say, how do you take your idea and advance it as far as you can? Get some customers, get feedback, figure out how to market the product or service, whatever you're offering.
Get a little income, maybe.
Get some income going. Build it up as far as you can till you can't get it any further without quitting your job. Not just for the financial security, but also sometimes when people start a business and start moving in a direction, they have some fantasy about how much they're going to love doing this. And a number of the people I've worked with have found that once they start building an idea, it's not all they thought it was going to be. And it turns out that the idea changes quite a bit to be something that, to make it something they actually want to do.
Well, especially like a restaurant. Someone says, I love to cook, so I want to own a restaurant.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. So would you say that maybe the point that you do that is the point where you realize that going to work at your normal job is costing you more money than it's making you by going to work because of the time you're not spending and devoting to your business?
Costing you more money and costing you more satisfaction.
Yeah.
The whole idea, the whole point of starting a business, besides financial security, is that you're actually doing something with your life that you enjoy and is more fulfilling and rewarding.
Right, absolutely.
So, Joel, how are you working with your clients? So you consider yourself a coach or a mentor or a consultant, or how are you working with clients?
Yes.
All three.
Well,
and more.
I'd say the simple answer is it's less about coaching, consulting, or mentoring, and more about what is the set of results that you're trying to create, and where do you feel stuck? What's holding you back? And then if that's a coaching relationship, or if that's more project-based consulting, and in some cases it is more mentoring. But I really try to build my relationships around the specific aspirations and concerns that the individual has that's coming to me.
So it sounds like you're working not only with aspiring entrepreneurs, but obviously with people who have taken that step and are maybe finding that there's just a few challenges out there being in business for yourself.
Yes.
Well, yeah, being an entrepreneur is really tough. So what keeps people motivated through the ups and downs of creating their business through something new?
Two things I think really keep people going. One is that they have to actually love what they're doing. Not that you have a great time every day. I mean, we all know, anyone who's run a business knows that it's not all fun and games. But beneath all that, you have to have a genuine interest in what you're doing and a genuine love of the business itself.
Okay, I take that back though. It is all fun and games around here when we do the show.
This is the exception.
Okay, this is the exception.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the other thing is people have a different relationship to what I'd say current reality. So things don't always go the way you want. And if you deal with that, if you react to that with disappointment or anger or frustration or resentment, it's very de-energizing. The successful entrepreneurs look at it and go, okay, this is what we did. We did it in order to get, we did X to get Y result, and we didn't get Y. We got something else. Let's learn from that. How do we, the old lemonade thing, how do we make lemonade out of these lemons?
Well, it's just also 5% what happens to you and 95% how you react to it.
Yes.
Well, right, and I loved in your website when I was looking up some information on you earlier, Joel, it says, you've got a sentence in there that says, clearly if you want different results than those you are getting now, something has to change. And that reminds me of one of my favorite Jim Rohn quotes, which is, success is something you attract by the person you become. Meaning that to affect change, you have to change who you are. You have to grow as a person, and I know as someone who's, been a kind of, myself being a personal student of personal development, that was easy for me to say. It's the changes that I've made and the envelopes that I've pushed and going outside my comfort zone that has caused real growth and effective change in my business.
Yeah, very true. And it's tough when you're caught up in the day-to-day demands of your business to actually pay attention to your own growth as a leader.
So how do you help people? Do you work with people on things like as basic as goal setting? Because I know, like for me, my experience in my own challenges in my own small business is even as the simple goal setting things is something that I thought I knew how to do it, but really it wasn't working effectively until I worked with a coach.
Oh, interesting. It can be goal setting. For some people, the goals are very clear, and other people actually have trouble figuring out what success would look like. So it may be actually getting very clear about what success means to you, what it would look like in different time frames. Mm-hmm. Other people have a greater difficulty with current reality, actually seeing things as they are, whether that's financial information or the relationships with their people in their business or their leadership team, all of those kinds of things. So some people it's that, and other people it's being able to figure out next steps and smart actions.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks a lot, Joel. We're going to have you back in the second segment here. We're going to have to come to our first commercial break, and remember the theme, trivia theme is raunchy movies.
No sports. I'm
no
so
sports.
disappointed.
Okay, we got one hard question and two easy ones, in my opinion. Okay, this is the hard one. What was the name of the hockey team Paul Newman, but it is sports, I guess. What is the name of the hockey team Paul Newman played for in the 1977 movie Slapshot? And we'll be right back. Okay, good. I know it's hard to remember, and if you have to move your seat,
Well, you don't have
because
to-
what happens is you go back like this, I have to keep going
This
like
is really loud.
Oh, then
So
I'll turn
yeah.
that. Oh, okay. Then here.
So I'm
I'll turn
getting
that
close,
down.
and then it's so loud that I'm thinking
Okay.
I'm too close.
Oh.
Okay.
No, you're not
we're
too
good.
close at all.
Okay.
Your side tone was up too high.
Yeah, and if we could, and I know it's kind of hard because we're talking business.
Yeah.
We want to keep the audience engaged, so yeah, introduce your voice. Go, hey, that was kind of cool. Hey, it's okay. That's perfectly okay.
Okay, good.
All right, and we got. Let's see here. I got
What is it that I have to offer? Because I
take it off
can't
now?
just go out and promote, borrow from me. I have to.
You have to be an expert.
And I finally had that aha moment in the last few months. And
So true.
it is how.
Yeah.
Yep,
So again, we're going to animate this a little bit more,
Okay.
and you're going to say right up to the mic like this, and
Right up
you
to the
go
mic
like
and
that.
animate.
So I got a follow-up question to the goal setting thing. And,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right.
So, I'll follow. Okay, ready? Here we go. We're going to 5 seconds of silence. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. I'm Edward Brown, your host, and I'm in the studio here with Mark Hanf of Pacific Private Money, Brian Burke of Praxis Capital, and our guest Joel Yanovitz. And when we cut to the first commercial break, we asked this trivia question, and again, the theme is raunchy movies. What was the name of the hockey team Paul Newman played for in the 1977 movie Slapshot? Anyone?
Yeah, so we blend a sports question with a movie question to make it
Yeah,
10 times
that
harder.
really-
You're killing me here.
No. Anyone?
Well, I'm a blank on that one.
Okay, the Chiefs. You have to see the movie.
Oh,
That's the one with the
of course. We should have known
That's
that.
the one with the Hanson brothers, the glasses, and the big
that's
nose. Remember
right.
that? Okay, the name of the Chiefs. All right. And Mark, you had a question for Joel you want to ask him.
Yeah, Joel, we were talking about goal setting before the first commercial break, and what I wanted to expand on that, it's not so much just like writing down what's your goal for the year, your goal for your business, which I know a lot of us are told, if your goal's not in writing, it's just a delusion. So I've got this goal in writing, but for me, it's also, in my business, it's the daily and the weekly planning and goal setting. It's how do I focus on growing my business as opposed to just doing all the, answering emails and answering the phone and doing the daily technical stuff. And that's what I tend to find most challenging.
Yeah, and you're not alone in that. The biggest thing I found to be helpful to people is if you look at your calendar, your time by how much time you spend on everything, and put it into two simple buckets. How much time you're spending reacting to everything else coming at you, and how much time you are spending on creating the things that are important to you in the business. So where do you want to take the business? What are the critical few things that will move it ahead in the next 90 days, 30, 60, 90 days, short term? This is not the grand vision, the grand plan. This is how do you move the business in the direction you want to move it in the next 30, 60, 90 days? What are the critical few, 2 or 3 things you can do to move it in that direction, and then put those first?
Disconnect your email account.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes. Or at least turn the notifications off.
Yeah, turn all the notifications off except for...
Wait, hold on, I'm answering some emails here. What was
Yeah,
that?
I guess that
see?
one.
Uh-huh.
Right, yeah. And by the way, we were talking at the break about the notion of comfort zone, of doing things out of your comfort zone.
Indeed, yes.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a big fan of that, of comfort as a standard of measurement of whether things are right. So sometimes people will say, well, I'm not really comfortable with that, so I'm not sure I should do it. Or sometimes people say, well, that's out of my comfort zone, so it must be good. I would say basing what you do or your judgment or assessment of an idea based on your comfort with it is a bad criteria. A better criteria is this one of the critical few, 2 or 3 things that will move the needle on those goals over the next 30, 60, 90 days? And if so, I don't really care how I feel about it. I'm going
That's
to do
right,
it.
yeah.
So, and I totally agree with that. It's what are the 3 things I should be focusing on in my business as a way of moving forward? But what about the 35 other things? I mean, how do you work with guys who are saying there's so much to do and I'm not yet at a profit level where I can hire people that I need to do that? How do you work
Yeah.
within that quandary?
Yeah. 2 principles.